Hi, Annie.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Great to talk to you. Thanks for
Yes,
giving me some of your time.
of course.
Well, let's begin by telling your story because you were in the New York Post and you and your husband had like this long affair with the media. So why don't you tell us your version?
Well, I made the decision that I wanted to freeze my eggs before I even started dating my husband. And it was something that I had started thinking about much more seriously when we got together, and then finally was in the financial situation to be able to do so when we started dating and subsequently were engaged. So he was totally supportive and happy, and thought it was a great idea. He's 2 years younger than I am, so definitely not in a rush and to have kids. And I knew that I wanted to have time for us to just be married and enjoy life, and also just I own a business, and I sort of just was realistic about the fact that I would need to um, have a few more years in me before I was sort of just ready for a variety of reasons to have a baby. So I went to NYU and had a great experience. It was very easy. It was totally easy for me. I had no hiccups, no bumps in the road whatsoever. And at the end of it, I have 14 eggs that they're freezing from it. So
That's awesome. So he was very supportive along the way, which is great. And how did you pay for the whole procedure? Was that pretty easy, or did you find that kind of
I wasn't easy, but just made a strategic decision that going into my savings was going to be a worthwhile investment. I also know many people who became mothers later in life and then had to go through IVF or other fertility treatments that wound up costing much more than
yeah.
what we did with the egg freezing. So in my opinion, it was definitely money worth spending. But I also was able to fully fund it myself, which even just a few years earlier I wouldn't have been able to do.
Hmm.
So it's definitely not cheap, but if you have some extra money in savings, for me, it was a great decision.
And how old were you at this time?
I was 32, almost 33,
And what year was this?
2012.
Okay, so a couple years ago. And what do you feel like now? Where are you guys at? You got married.
We've been married almost 2 years. We're definitely starting to consider having kids much more seriously than ever before. I don't think we're there quite yet, but it's definitely something that is more front of mind for me than ever before. Um, it probably still wouldn't be for like at least another year. And I will likely try to get pregnant on my own first,
Hmm.
naturally, and sort of see what happens, and only really tap into the egg if I need to.
Right. Have you ever thought of making embryos together?
Yeah.
No. Gonna do it the natural route for now, and then
I think so. I think that even though I might be 38 when we start trying, I still feel like that's viable, or could be viable. And then I have the eggs if it's not, and so I don't think that we're in that situation where we need to do the embryo route just yet.
right, right. You have a lot of insurance policies in play.
Yeah, I do. I
Yeah,
hope it works out.
yeah. Um, Going back to when you were featured in the New York Post, how did that all happen?
Um, I'm a publicist. That's my job by nature. And I get a daily email where a reporter from the New York Post was asking for people to share their story about egg freezing and different fertility treatments. And I literally never submit myself because I'm always answering those emails on behalf of my client. But this one, they were looking for somebody with exactly the sort of, background that Mike and I had, a married couple who went through this egg freezing process, but still hadn't cashed in on the eggs yet. So I just emailed the reporter and we spoke, and she thought that we would be a good fit. And, that was pretty much it.
That's really cool. Yeah, neat. Well,
I was happy to do it because it's, I don't, for me, I've had a very just sort of open and progressive viewpoint when it comes to egg freezing or women's fertility, but I think there still could be other women out there who are unsure and don't really have a lot of information. And I just felt like if I could tell my story and show people, like, look, it was easy. Yes, it cost money, but I'm so glad that I did it. That maybe it might help other women sort of want to go through and come to the same conclusion.
so what would you tell other women that are debating the idea?
I would say that if having children is something that you seriously think you may want to do in the future, but time is not on your side, to strongly weigh the cost benefit ratio here, because while that $10,000 could mean a new trip or a down payment on a car or whatever, I think that it would be money well spent if it meant that in the future you didn't have to spend excess money going through fertility options. And I also just think that for women, biologically speaking, it's just not as easy for us to have as many options as men. And this is amazing technology that's been proven to work time and time and time again. And I just think it's something that empowers women to just have all of those same options. Not all of them, but a lot of the same options that men do as well. So I think it's pretty important if you're considering having kids.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, you work with a lot of clinics, right? Or with some fertility clinics?
We work with the New Hope Fertility Center, which is located in Manhattan.
Right. And anybody specific you would recommend for women to reach out to, or?
Absolutely. Dr. John Zhang is the founder and the head doctor at New Hope, and he has been a pioneer in egg freezing and in many different types of fertility treatment for women. And their clinic does amazing work, and egg freezing is just one of the many, many options that women have there. But certainly for women of the appropriate age who want to freeze their eggs, this New Hope Fertility Center would be a great option for them. And they also have, a bit of flexibility when it comes to just budgets and, really working with the patients to try to be able to, to make it work for them.
That's great. Well, thanks, Annie, for sharing your story.
Welcome.
We'll have to keep up with your journey and see what happens next.
I'll let you know.
For when baby time comes.
We'll see. But yes, I'll let you know, and thank you very much.
Awesome. Thanks. Bye, Annie.